Hi, I'm Nick from DeltaTek, and just to show you how easy it is to fit our freespool drum, we're going to do it here at an off-road play and play site. The Delta-Tek Freespool is supplied fully assembled and comes with a replacement bearing for the end plate, so it'll fit straight into a standard 8274 winch. First we need to remove the rope from the standard drum using the standard freespool. First, the most important thing to do is disconnect the power leads to the motor. The reason we've taken the cables off the motor is because we're going to remove the whole motor and top housing in one piece. It's held onto the bottom with 3 socket head screws, which need a 1/4 inch Allen key to remove them. Having taken the screws out, you can just lift the top housing and motor off in one go. The next job is to remove the end plate of the winch. This is simply done by removing the 2 bolts that hold it onto the bracket. The drum is held in with this retaining plate. You should simply lift up and the drum will pull out. You'll need to retain the oil seal and the oil seal thrust washer from the original drum to fit to the new drum. First, you need to refit the rigid plastic thrust washer. Then refit the rubber oil seal, and you're ready to refit the drum. You'll need to lift up the locking plate and the gear back into position and hold them with your fingers inside the gearbox so that the drum will slide back in. So to replace the drum, you should simply slot back in to the spline in the gear. Hold up the locking plate until the drum is all the way in, and then slide it down into the retaining groove. Next, we need to remove the plastic bush from the end plate in order to replace it with the aluminium bearing adapter and end plate bearing. The next step is to fit the airline fitting in the end of the drum. This simply screws in, tighten with a spanner, and then fit the airline retaining clip to the top of the end plate and fit the airline. The airline simply pushes into the fitting and then clips into the retaining clip in order to prevent the hose from rotating with the drum. Now that the drum is fitted, we've connected it to an air supply in order to test it before we fully reassemble the winch. With the drum locked, it's connected to the gearbox exactly the same way as the original drum. With the air on and the drum completely disconnected from the gearbox, the drum should turn easily. If it doesn't, it's probably down to misalignment in the mounting. If you slacken the bolts on the end plate and the problem goes away, then it may be that you need space between the end plate and the bracket with a couple of washers just to keep it in line. And now it's time to refit the top housing. But while it's all apart, it's an ideal opportunity to check the quality and quantity of the oil in the gearbox. If it's milky or has a creamy consistency, the likelihood is it has water in it and needs to be replaced. Lower the top housing into place, line up the 3 bolt holes in the casing with the 3 in the top housing. Now we've connected all the wires back up, and before we put the rope on, there's an opportunity for me to point out to you the rope retaining lug, and you'll notice that the drum diameter is smaller than the standard. This means that you can get more rope on the drum, but you also get more pulling power. So at the beginning we saw how difficult it was to pull the rope with a standard freespool. Now watch this.